This is the second generation of the Hyundai Venue and it has got 60 changes when compared to its predecessor. To start off, the design is all new and is in line with Hyundai's latest design language with a connected DRL that extends below and quad LED headlamps. The new Venue is bigger in size. It's 30 mm wider, 48 mm taller and has a 20 mm longer wheelbase when compared to before. The connected light treatment is done at the rear too with the connected light bar. But I'm not a big fan of the 16-inch alloy wheels. The design isn't sporty. Step inside and the interior is all new too. But before I talk about this awesome cabin, let me show you this awesome car perfume from Involve Your Senses. This is the Involve Superman Bobblehead. It's a fragrance diffuser. It comes with 2 refills, super easy to use. Just remove the tray, put the fragrance right inside here and you're good to go. It smells really nice. It's extremely powerful. It's an aqua fragrance and makes the cabin smell fresh instantly. And every Superman Bobblehead perfume also comes with this awesome keychain which actually has a fidget spinner right here. Yeah, that is so freaking damn awesome. And you can get yours with a 10% discount using coupon code FASTBEAM. Click somewhere on the top right corner of the screen right now. Anyways, coming back to the Venue, the dashboard is all new with this new steering wheel that has the Morse code for H instead of the Hyundai logo. The steering feels quite good to hold. It has buttons for audio, ADAS and for toggling through the instrument cluster features which has a tire pressure monitor too and there's a compass as well. The fully digital cluster is big in size at 12.3 inches and has multiple display modes. And the same 12.3 inch size is used for the infotainment system too, which uses an NVIDIA chipset and is slick to use. Finally, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity is here. This new Venue is Hyundai's very first software-defined vehicle in India which comes with 20 controllers to enable over-the-air updates for navigation as well as the infotainment system. The dark navy and dove grey interior color theme is quite unique and so are the dual-tone leatherette seats which also has the Venue branding. The terrazzo finish on the dashboard also gets the Venue branding and it looks quite cool. The finish on the door panels is also very unique but there are a lot of hard plastics here. Not just on the door pads but on the dashboard as well. Hyundai has given the Venue plenty of features including a 4-way powered driver's seat, ventilated front seats, cooled glove box, white ambient lighting, front and rear parking sensors, 360-degree parking camera, driver rear view monitor, electric parking brake, auto hold, 70 connected car features, 400 voice commands with support for 5 languages, wireless phone charger, auto dimming IRVM, rear window sunblind, 3 drive modes, 3 traction modes, an all-new key and an 8-speaker Bose sound system with an amplifier. Audio quality is actually quite nice.
Open Gangnam Style.
Since this car doesn't have rear radars, it gets 3 times the number of ultrasonic sensors as its predecessor. Yes, 6 at the front and 6 at the rear. So yes, it's a very feature-loaded car, but certain things could be better. Like a panoramic sunroof is missing, which is offered by the Venue's rivals, and there is no dash cam, air purifier or magazine pockets like the previous car. So while they have removed the magazine holders here, it's a good thing because this is scooped out which gives more knee room. There are no height adjustable seat belts either. In terms of safety, it comes with 6 airbags and 65 advanced safety features while 33 of them are standard across all the variants. Rear discs have been added now, which was only offered in the N-line earlier. Space in the second row has improved slightly and the seat reclines. The armrest here has 2 cup holders just like the center console, but center passenger doesn't get a headrest. There is storage under the front center armrest as well as above the glove box, and Hyundai has used plenty of physical buttons to ensure ease of use. There are 4 USB-C charging sockets with the front ones quite unique as you can switch between charging and phone connectivity. The 12-volt socket is also nicely done. It also gets 2 proper spots to keep your phone. The door pockets are big and there are rear AC vents too. And below that rear AC vent, there's a cubby hole to keep your phone. The boot size has increased by 25 litres to 375 litres, but the spare wheel isn't an alloy and is smaller sized at 195/65/15. Alright, we are going to start driving the diesel first, which means we're just going to turn on the car. You can hear a bit of the diesel sound. Let's turn off the air conditioning. Straight away, we come into sport drive mode. I'm going to turn off the traction control. Keep the button pressed and there it turns off completely. We come into drive mode. I come into manual mode, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor, rev still almost 1800 RPM and off we go. A little bit of wheel spin, upshifts at 4000 RPM. Yeah, that's because we are in manual mode, so it's going near the red line as such. And bump! Oops, I felt that. And this guy also felt it because the Venue is sprung on the stiffer side. But there are improvements in the ride quality. It feels better when compared to before, but yes, it is still on the stiffer side, because of which you can feel a lot of bumps on the inside, and the suspension isn't silent. It's a bit on the noisier side. Let me turn on the driver rear view monitor because that's obviously cool. Let me also remove this plastic sheet. I don't know why I kept it there. Oh, there's this sheet on the air conditioning as well. Oh, that was a speed breaker. So ground clearance is decent, no problem on that front. And the grip levels are also decent in this car because it is on the stiffer side, which means it's actually decent fun to drive it. The problem is where I'm driving right now, there are a lot of big fat bumps highlighting the Venue's problem of not having the most comfortable or silent suspension as such, which means that this isn't a car which loves bad roads because it is on the stiffer side, and that stiffness actually does help when you're driving this car spiritedly, because the steering is decent. Okay, it's not the most responsive steering as such, but it is direct, it's straightforward, and it doesn't make you feel hairy at all. High speed stability is also decent, but I still need to do the 0 to 100 km/h test. Now, what is new here is obviously the transmission. It gets a diesel automatic. So this is the same setup as the Creta. It's a 1.5 litre diesel engine which makes 116 PS of power and 250 Newton meters of torque, and because this is lighter than the Creta, it feels very peppy. Turbo lag is well contained, mid-range is nice and strong, top end is definitely lacking here, but since I've got paddle shifters, I can take manual control of the gearbox, and when I do that, it does not hold on to a gear. It upshifts around 4200 RPM. The thing is that this car, it gets a bit noisy in the higher end of the rev range. So the top end is not there as such. So there's no point pulling this car into the higher end of the rev range because it kind of struggles in the top end. Like the mid range is where the sweet spot is, and that's where you should be upshifting the gears, but the gearbox is actually smart enough to do it itself. Now this happens to be a torque converter gearbox which is smooth with shifts. Not very urgent, not very fast, but gets the job done. Slight lag, but you're not going to complain on that because obviously the performance is quite impressive because of the lightweight and 250 Newton meters of torque, which is considerable here. Now it has the enhanced K1 platform, which is having 71% of high strength steel, ultra high strength steel, advanced high strength steel, and hot stamping, which should result in better safety ratings here. 16 ADAS features in this car. 16, so level 2 ADAS. What has been added compared to the old Venue? Well, 6 more ADAS features, making it level 2 instead of level 1. And I kind of like the way the car is to drive, but then those bumps, they can be felt, and then Hyundai has obviously not revealed the water weighting capacity, something they should if you're going to be driving in such a locality, but no issue on that front. It's just the thing that the manual seems like a better bet to me because the manual is crazy efficient. It's the most efficient in the whole Venue lineup, the diesel manual obviously, because firstly a diesel is a diesel and it's damn freaking efficient. When I had the Creta diesel with me for a long term duration, I used to get a fuel efficiency of almost 20 kilometers per liter, and the Venue should be no different. It should return almost 20 kilometers per liter with a mixed driving style, mostly on the highways and not spirited, but you will definitely get more than 14 kilometers per liter in the city, stretching to almost 16-17 kilometers per liter if you drive it sedately. So efficiency is where the Venue really shines, because this 1.5 liter diesel engine is absolutely fantastic in terms of efficiency. With the automatic, it brings in the convenience, making it really suited to our traffic prone roads. A lot of traffic these days, so obviously the automatic becomes a great bet here in the Venue. And with the diesel, you don't really feel the pinch of an automatic because obviously an automatic drinks slightly more fuel, so this is less efficient than the manual. In fact, in the petrol, it is actually the DCT which is more efficient than the manual. 6-speed manual gearbox for both the turbo as well as the diesel, and in terms of the paddle shifters, they're there if you want to use it, but not really much of a help as such, because the gearbox does its job. And again, it's not about spirited driving. There is body roll, naturally there will be, because this car is obviously higher setup. Because of the stiff suspension, the body roll is actually well contained, and we have got multiple drive modes. So let's come into eco drive mode, which obviously dulls the performance in lieu of just improving the efficiency of the vehicle, and it definitely works. Now there's the normal drive mode, which is a good mix of sport and eco, which is what people will mostly drive in. And again, performance is decent here, but in sport mode now I can feel that the steering becomes slightly heavier, giving it better feedback as well, and then making it more fun to drive the car. I'm not too sure how many people are into fun driving with say a Venue, but this is one of the few cars in the segment which actually feels little fun to drive because of the stiffness in the suspension and the diesel engine's massive torque as well. And the steering is actually super duper light here. Okay, let me show you. Okay, when we twirl the steering, one hand operation, easily done, no problem here at all. And now it's time to do the 0 to 100 km/h test. No, actually I can't. I just noticed there's a speed bump right ahead. So first we should stop ahead of that and then give this car the full beans to see how fast it goes from 0 to 100 km/h. For that, I am actually, okay, the brakes are very nice here. Time to test the acceleration. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor, and off we go. Come on! You can hear the engine. It becomes a bit vocal in the higher end of the rev range, so taking into the higher end makes no sense at all here. But then there's a big fat bump and woof, that's 0 to 100 km/h in 13.4 seconds, which is decent, not great, but then 116 PS of power is sort of the segment average as such. So I'm not going to complain on that front because Hyundai's diesel engines are fantastic. They're very refined, very smooth. Turbo lag is well contained, extremely efficient, making this car a very practical choice for those who want something which is efficient, easy to drive, and also fast enough. It actually drives very similar to the older Venue. Only thing is the suspension is slightly improved, but it is still quite noisy here. That's the only gripe I have. But then that's expected because this is a sub 4 meter car. You can't expect advanced suspension with great insulation and all those things because, again, a price factor also comes into the picture here. But I think it's the turbo petrol which is the more fun one because of obviously more power and a better gearbox. I mean, the more, how do I put it, urgent gearbox. So let's quickly jump into the petrol. And the petrol is actually quite fun to drive because of the sound in the higher end of the rev range. Yeah, this is the same 1 liter turbo petrol engine which does duty on the older Venue. The power is the same at 120 PS. In fact, there's not much of a difference in terms of the driving experience here other than the fact that the ride quality is improved slightly and the car feels a bit bigger to drive. I don't know why, because probably the wheelbase is slightly longer or something, but yes, it gives you a slightly bigger car feel when compared to before. The steering sort of similar, but it is quite fun to drive, especially when you come into sport mode. Now I need to remove this plastic panel in this car as well, along with the plastic panel here too. Yeah, I'm just unboxing cars today. Come off. This one is a bit difficult, the way they have secured it. Anyways, onto the throttle. This is a very likable engine, this 1 liter turbo petrol engine, because turbo lag is like well contained sort of. Mid-range is nice and punchy and it sounds sporty and spirited as well, which is something I really like about this car. Now you get a 6-speed manual and a 7-speed DCT. This is the 7-speed DCT, which is actually quite fast with shifts. You have got paddle shifters as well, so you can make your own shifts if you want. There are drive modes, so there's eco, normal and sport, and there are traction modes as well. Now compared to the diesel, I mean this is similar to the diesel, but compared to the diesel, this one also gets a stop-start system, which is not there in the diesel because the diesel is so efficient. It does not need a stop-start system only. Yeah, it just does not drink fuel only. Yeah, diesel hates drinking fuel. That's the best part about the diesel, because the diesel is always a diesel. Like I've always told you, let me remove this plastic panel. It's so difficult to remove it. Somehow they've stuck it so much. It's crazy. This should come out from here actually. Finally, I removed one of the sheets and we are out. And off we go. Big bumps, they affect the car, and these bumps are a bit too big and you can feel the car moving, but again, the bumps are like humongous here. That's a Mahindra XUV 700 facelift testing there. I love the fact how Hyundai does this blind view monitor. It's fantastic. High speed stability is good, and around the corners, well, it's impressive. There's a lot of grip somehow and it does feel fun to drive. The brakes are also quite nice. So when you come across unmarked speed breakers, you can stop in good time because the brakes are actually very good here. And so are the grip levels, and so is the high speed stability of this car. So yes, really impressive on a lot of fronts. Only thing is the ride could be better. It's not as good as I expected it to be. Like I expected bigger improvements in terms of the ride quality, but no, that's not the case here. The suspension is still a bit noisy. The diesel is a little stiffer because of the heavier weight of the engine. This one rides slightly better, I think, because it doesn't feel as stiff somehow. Yes, it is on the stiffer side, and there is body roll, which are expected from a car of this kind with the higher ground clearance, a big body, like a taller body also. Now since the height has also increased, you can also factor that in. So insulation levels could be better, but the driving feel is actually very nice here with a turbo petrol. But then instead of buying a turbo petrol like this variant, you rather get the N line, because the N line actually gets a lot more stuff. For starters, I need to take a U-turn and show you this amazing thing on the road, which you will only see on Indian roads, is this tree, 45-degree tree, which will fall any moment. What is this tree and how does it manage to hang on by tilting so much? Anyways, tree test done, back on the road, or off it anyways. So like I was telling you, that the N-line is the one to buy because the N-line gets a lot more features. Firstly, it looks sportier with sportier bumpers and all those things. Twin exhaust sounds better. The suspension is the same in the N-line, but it gets dynamic swipe indicators at the rear, all black dashboard with red accents. It has got an inbuilt air diffuser as well, like a aroma thingy, which is also very cool. And along with that, they've also added buttons on the steering wheel. So N steering wheel with buttons on them, so that you can make changes to the drive mode as well as the traction mode from the steering tool, like you can on Mercedes AMG models. Oh my goodness, and BMW M's as well. So Hyundai has really gone bonkers by giving a lot of crazy stuff in the N line. I just wish the suspension was stiffer, the power was more, and all those factors would have definitely helped. Okay, I see a nice empty road. Let's give it the full bananas. For a 3-cylinder engine, this car does sound quite sporty, and I like the fact that I can see an empty road right ahead of me to do the 0 to 100 km/h test. So here we are, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, traction control off, keep it pressed to turn it off completely because now it's limited, now it's off, and off we go. Yeah, because it's a DCT, there's that inherent lag at launch, doesn't launch immediately, it hesitates a bit, and then I don't think we are going to hit 0 to 100 km/h right away because there's a speed breaker here. So many speed breakers to prevent people from going fast over potholes. And while I would not say that this car is better than that one, because the price is obviously going to increase here. The price of the old Venue is between rupees 10 to 15 lakhs on road Mumbai, but the kind of features they have added, obviously the price is going to increase here, which is natural and expected and nothing wrong at all, because they have given it everything but the kitchen sink. The only thing which I see is missing here is the panoramic sunroof, but other than that, this car has almost everything. Now is the time to do the 0 to 100 km/h test. Hopefully we reach there. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, and off we go. Come on. Yeah, it drops away 1 second in the start only na, because of that lag. And no, we are not going to reach there because there's another big fat speed breaker. Oh my goodness, how many speed breakers? And the people who decide this road are like, yes, we are on a slight slope, maybe there'll be a slight advantage for the car, but never mind, there's a disadvantage with the road surface being slightly wet as well. I can't go 0 to 100 km/h only because this is a very sharp turn, and I'm obviously not very confident to belt the car at those speeds through that right-hander. Yeah, the car would have made it, but maybe I would have crapped in my pants. And then again, we see this fantastic tree in front. It's so risky to go under it because it can fall any moment, but risk hai to ishq hai. So easy to drive the Venue. It's unbelievably so maneuverable, this car, because of the light steering. And the horn is decent, could be better, doesn't have that Germanness to it because this is a Korean car, it's not a German car. So why are you expecting a German horn in this car? Just so wrong on your side. Now in terms of ADAS and all, obviously improvements have been given there, which is a good thing, but the N line has, I think, 22 ADAS features because it also has a rear radar. This one only has a front radar, so rear radars are there in the N-line version. So the N-line obviously makes a lot more sense for the premium you pay for it. Looks sporty, will be quite unique because it's only available in the higher end, right, like more expensive, and that is one of the major reasons why getting the N-line makes a lot more sense than just getting the 1-liter turbo. Now the manual is actually less efficient than the automatic. The automatic is more efficient because this automatic gearbox is a DCT. It is very fast with shift. Does it hold on to a gear? It does not. So here I'm going to make shifts on my own. Upshifts at around 6000 RPM. Let's come into manual for the gearbox using a Triptronic function. I'm happy Hyundai has not given it a rotary dial to select the gear lever. There's another separate sort of a fun by keeping your hand on the gear stick and then driving the car. It gives you such a positive vibe, at least it does to me, because then I'm like, okay, I'm going to make shifts using this gear lever only. It makes you feel in control completely of the car. Let's do the wiper test. Lot of spray on offer. The wipers are also quite nice here. By the way, the N line also gets red ambient lighting here instead of white. But the biggest USP of the N line is that it also comes with a manual. Okay, this also comes with a manual, but now you can get an N line with a manual, which is just amazing because that is the variant to buy with the manual. It will be so damn fun. And honestly, I feel nothing even comes close to the fun of a manual, and thankful Hyundai is offering us both the options, both manual and automatic, in the N line, in the regular versions as well. What is this crater on the road? But who are we kidding? The variant which is going to sell the most is obviously the one which is going to be powered by the 1.2 liter MPI engine, which makes 83 PS of power. That one gets the job done. Not very spirited, not very powerful, not very fun either, but then quite attractively priced because turbo obviously adds a lot of cost to the mix, and then it's only available with the 5-speed manual gearbox. There is no automatic option there, but then that gets the job done. For most people who are looking to buy a car in this segment, they are very price conscious, and in that regard, that is the variant which will give you the most bang for your buck. Now finally, I see an empty road, and I think it's the time to do the 0 to 100 km/h acceleration test. So let's stop here. Let me reset this. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor, and off we go. A little bit of wheel spin, getting a tow from that Ferrari, opening the DRS, and 0 to 100 km/h successfully failed again because the roads are too narrow to actually test how fast this car is to accelerate. But it is actually quite a fun car to drive, especially this turbo petrol, because yeah, it's punchy, but a turbo obviously drinks fuel if you drive it spiritedly. So expect fuel efficiency numbers to be not as great, because this will return somewhere in single digits if you drive it the way I'm driving right now, which is around 7 to 8 or 9 kilometers per liter, extending to double digit numbers if you drive it sedately. But the best part about the turbo is that there is power on demand. Drive it sedately, you get efficiency. Drive it with a very heavy foot, you then end up getting great performance as well. I think I finally found a road where I can test the 0 to 100 km/h acceleration of this car, and let's do it right here, because this is a stretch which should help me hit 100 km/h, hopefully. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor, and off we go. Oh, gear shifts happen so damn quick. That's amazing. Nope, nope, nope. Not long enough. Unfortunately, we shall try it one last time. If not, then when I test the N-Line, that is when I'm going to test the 0 to 100 km/h acceleration of this car, and off we go. At least I can do the brake test now. ABS is oversensitive here, but the brakes are strong. This Venue has improved when it comes to design, features and practicality, and Hyundai hasn't made many mechanical changes to this car because the powertrains remain largely the same as before, because Hyundai's powertrains are absolutely fantastic, refined, smooth, good in terms of efficiency and performance, so they really didn't have to change them much. Yes, the ride quality isn't the best, but as an overall package, this car really impresses. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to give the thumbs up, that's the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to check out this awesome car perfume from Involve Your Senses, the Superman Bobblehead. Click on the top right corner of the screen right now to get yours. Bye bye.